Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. If you would please find your seats. I have to say that when I saw the weather and the sub-zero tundra, I thought, well, Ruthie and I will be together alone and we'll sing and you'll celebrate Shabbat online and it'll be fine.
And look at you all beautiful troopers here. Look at all these lovely people.
We are so very glad that you're here. It is the month where we acknowledge the differently. It is the month we acknowledge that we are all differently abled. But regardless of our abilities or challenges, we are all vessels of God's light. And so, this poem from This Precious Life by Alden Salavi, it's called Between Egypt and Sinai. Between Egypt and Sinai, there is only the journey, the long march from what was to what might be, from servitude to service, from pain to purpose, from Pharaoh to God's holy mountain. Some days, more than I care to admit, I'm closer to Egypt than Sinai, closer to narrowness of mind and constriction of heart. Still, I see the mountain and rededicate myself to the destination. Between Egypt and Sinai, there is only one question. Are we ready to become a nation of priests, guided by Torah, serving God, the Jewish people, and all of humanity, with our hands, with our souls, and with our lives? Tonight, Shabbat Shirah, the song of the sea, where the Israelites, with a lifting of Moses' hand and God's miracle, cross onto dry land. And so many of the songs that we're going to do tonight might not be normative Shabbat fare. For example, the first one we're going to do, Hodu Ladonai, is part of Hallel. But the idea is that we'll all sing together a new song, which is, of course, what makes our lives full, to find that new song. All right, before we begin our singing, page 121, as Sandy Chait comes up and lights our Shabbat candles. Page 121.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, be our lives, give light to all who behold us. As our darkness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu Shabbat. Okay. Can you say Hodu La'Adonai?
Ladonai.
And it simply means give thanks to God. And the song is repeated over and over again. And once you get the hang of it, then Cantor and I can start in with a round. So it goes like this. I know you know it, Lori. Goes like this. Hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu. That's the whole song. Let's do it again. Hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu. Let's do it again. You're getting good. Hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu. You want to start with everybody, and I'll come in.
Boy. Where is it? Is it?
Yeah, that's it. 2, 3, 4, 6.
Hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu It's harder than it looks.
I said, just look at this music.
Yeah, no, not so easy when you're not seeing things well. Ah, the blessing of advanced years. Kiddush, page 123. I invite you to rise physically or spiritually. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshon mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zeher letziyat Mitzrayim, ki anu v'ahavta ve'otanu kidashta mikol V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
You may be seated. Please join with me in reading page 124 at the bottom of the page. May the door to the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the doors of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the door to a richer and more meaningful life. Please turn to someone next to you and say Shabbat Shalom. On page 142, you'll find the words for Shalom Aleichem, but really we're going to do Shabbat, the Shabbat bride, the Sabbath bride, which was written by one of Ruthie's dear friends and mimics the theme.
So you all have that sheet now, the Sabbath bride. Does anybody need a sheet? Oh, okay. I have it right up here, honey. Come and get it. Here you go, baby girl.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right. Oh, wait, let me get mine. Da 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 da. On the sixth day after creation came, an angel looked west and he spied a lowly figure upon a hill, calling, "Come, I will be your bride." She beckoned to him, she beckoned to him, calling, "Come, I will be your bride." The seventh day is the Sabbath, and for now you must rest by my side. He started to tell her of those 6 days, the work and the pain, and he cried, resting his weary head on her knee, the weight of the world in his eyes. She said, "Blessings on him." She said, "Blessings on him." She said, "On this day you are mine." Until heaven comes down to earth, you must rest with the Sabbath bride. On the 8th day after creation came, an angel awoke and he sighed. For nowhere could he find her. Gone was the Sabbath bride. Many years later, I find myself on the evening train home Friday night, wondering if this week's creations are worthy of the Sabbath bride. Please beckon to me, bless all that you see, even though the world's not yet right. Please remind us of heaven on the wings of the Sabbath bride. Please beckon to me, bless all that you see, even though the world's not yet right.
Page 147. There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding within everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there's one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech, let us bless. I invite you to rise physically or spiritually, page 146.
Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitbuna mashane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, Boreyom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevin laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tsevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiness of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot ben einecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And so this Song of the Sea, where we get the words we're about to read, to sing together, one of the very oldest pieces of Torah. We know this because of the way it's written in the sheer form and the syllabic inner workings. And one can only imagine that moment, I think, that we've all experienced in our life, of the greatest of deep unsureness and fear, and of that one step forward that we make into the unknown, the hardest, longest step. And yet, once we do that, we become empowered and emboldened. We grow in ways we could not possibly imagine, and we leave behind a narrow space. And so, page 158, as we sing together.
Elim Adonai mi kamaha nedar b'kodesh Torah tehillah osef eleh Torah tehillah osef eleh Abudha Rahu Varecha Bokei Ayam Livnei Shemoshe Baruch atah Adonai, God Yisrael.
Page 160, Hashkivenu.
Ready?
Ready? Tefillah on page 164 asks us to rise spiritually and physically, if that is, you are so desirous. Page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Kaneh HaKol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevii Geulah Livnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav le'oshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel chayim b'chesed, Mechaye hakol b'rachamim rabim, Somach noflim ve'rofeh holim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato l'shanei afar, mi chamach ba'al givrot, umido melach, melech memit umchayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshimo yom yalucha, Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. I invite you to take a moment to examine the inner workings of your heart. If you wish to follow along with the words, please let us know you're done with your reflection or your reading when you get to page 180.
Shalom Rab, Al Yisrael Ocha, Tassim Le'olam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Seder Kriyat Torah l'Shabbat, the order for reading of Torah on Shabbat, is found on page 362. We invite you to rise physically or spiritually.
Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol ha'olam, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai ilmod le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'moiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Avrahami hetiva b'tzoracha et Zion. Tibnei chomot Yerushalayim. Tibnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki lecha levad batachnu, melech elna v'nisa, Adon olamim. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagedura v'hatiheret v'hanetzach v'hahor. Ki ho b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki ho b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'hanitnaseh lechol rosh. Hine, 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 ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, 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 ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Lo yisal goy el goy terem, lo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisal goy el goy herem, lo yilmedu od milchama.
So, Sammy, I see, is still standing, and you know there is a tradition of standing for Shirat Hayam. Wait one second. This particular Torah portion, if you want to come up and see it, it is quite extraordinary. So the way that it looks is as if one were layering bricks. And on the sides, of course, because the text is justified, those would be representing fancy fonts, right? Those would be like the walls of the water as they are parting. It is so extraordinary. I mean, if you've never seen
Come
it in
on,
the
guys,
Torah,
come on.
you
Come
should
look.
see this. It is
Of all the Torah portions,
It is-
this is
Nothing else
really
looks like
extraordinary.
this.
Yes, of
So-
course, either way. As long as you can
This
see
is a very, very interesting portion. This is a very, very interesting portion. Here, let me get out of the way while I'm talking,
Look at how it's laid
that you
out.
can see.
See how
It
unusual?
looks like Arabic. Yeah, it looks like the Quran.
Thank you.
So this particular Torah portion
Come here, baby girl.
has some very interesting music attached.
Down.
Very interesting music attached to it. So let me tell you something about the music as you're all coming up here. The music, so can everybody see? Okay, can you see quietly? Thank you for seeing quietly. I appreciate it. Can you all see? Beautiful, lovely. So this particular Torah portion, and we're going to close it up until we do the blessing, and then of course I'll open it again. This particular Torah portion's music, it has two distinct traditions. One, of course, Ashkenazi, the second Sephardic. What's cool about it is that it doesn't follow the normal cantillations for all of its verses. What do I mean? Well, if you're chanting it the way the Ashkenazim chant it, the verses that have God's name are chanted in a very different cantillation. If you are chanting it the way I'm going to chant it, which is Sephardic, it doesn't even follow, it's just a tune, really. It's truthfully just a tune. But you have to know which verses have the tune. And so we're only going to chant two of the verses in that particular tune. Okay, Susan and Leela, you want to? Well, why not? You're all here. Please, the blessing before the reading of Torah. If you guys start, everyone will join in, I know. Baruch hu et Adonai, Baruch hu et Adonai, Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, Notei HaTorah. All right, and if you're sitting in your seat, page 415 in the Torah commentaries, at the bottom of the page, this is Exodus 15, verse 1. All right. Jane, do you want to hold that side? And Ed, do you want to hold that side? It would be very helpful. So then Moses and the children of Israel sang this song to God, Vayomru Lemor, and they said, saying, Ashirah ladonai ki gaon ga'a, sos v'rach bo rama bayam. So the song to God who has greatly triumphed. Horse and driver he has thrust into the sea. Here's that cool chant. Now you're going to recognize this verse from our Havdalah, right? Here's the tune though. Ozi v'zimrat ya v'yahili leshua zeli v'anvehu Elohei avi v'romimenu. All right, I heard you sing a little bit. That was lovely, Ben. Thanks for joining me. My strength and my song is from God, and He is my deliverer. He is my God, I will enshrine Him. The God of my fathers, I will exalt Him. And we can also do that cool tune to the Micha Mocha, which is verse 11, if you're following. So, Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot u'seifele. Who is like you of all of the celestial beings, God? Who is like you, resplendent in splendor, doing who is awesome and doing wonders. All right, blessing after. Amen. Thank you so for helping me read Torah tonight, guys. It was quite wonderful to have you here. Wow, I'm going to ask
I
Ruthie.
think we should continue this every week. I like that.
I'm glad, Sam. I'm glad.
Be careful.
So, as you're going to sit down, I'm going to actually reverse things, Ruthie.
Okay, whatever you like.
Well, no, that's not true. We're
No.
going to continue with the Mishaberach.
Okay.
So, as Torah is in our midst, and I'm going to get the mantle to cover it, we think of those in our community who are in need of Refuat Shlema, Refuat Haguf, the healing of body, Refuat Nefesh, the healing of one's soul. We've been asked to think of Stephen Engelman, Marcy Gelber, Phyllis Goldblatt, Molly Levine, Miriam Lyon, Shiri Wawal, Tali Stein, Cameron Michael Taft, and Eddie Turner. As I go around the congregation, if you would like to lift up a name, please feel free to do so. You may overlap, but that's just fine. So it's okay to speak when someone else is speaking.
Calf Mormon.
We join together singing.
Yishaberach Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Yishaberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our
hear
prayer.
our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your love. May our hearts beat with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Yishaberach Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Yishaberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
When I was a little girl, my father used to say to me, keep going. I'll always be by your side. I'll always be behind you, but I don't want to be in front of you. You lead the way. Well, that's scary business. We've all know the feeling of being out in front and not being sure which way to go. Our ancestor story is a story that lives in us and is old as time. But Pirkei Avot reminds us, it isn't your duty to complete the work, but you're not free from it, desisting from it either. You have to walk forward. Page 645.
Yes, you found it. Lo Alecha and pastor said, the meaning is quite deep. You don't have to fix everything, but you can't walk away from it. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, velo ata elorim elorim lebavel ema menina velo ata ben horim lehibater mimena velo ata ben horim lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, velo ata ben horim lehibaret mimena, velo ata ben horim, velo ata ben horim lehibater mimena, velo ata ben horim. Thank you for the harmony.
We invite you to rise physically or spiritually, page 374.
Hodo al eretz v'shamayim vayarek eret le'amo tehila lecho chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, et hayim le'machazikima v'tov lechecha me'usha le'ma'ela ba'eya ve'lo tishbatecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh yameinu Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
You may be seated. Lloyd Bacharach, a member of our family, is a motivational speaker. For 10 years, he worked on the floor of the trading floor of the Chicago Merc and has modeled for JCPenney, Sears, Land's End, and coached gymnastics for the Special Olympics and also for the Chicago Park District. He's a Renaissance man, but I bet that if you asked him what he was proudest of, he might just say his amazing marriage to his beautiful wife, Julia, and his two extraordinary daughters,
That would be it. Exactly.
Marissa and Paley Rose.
We knew you were going to say that.
Yep. So thank you for bringing that up. Shabbat Shalom. A funny thing happened to me on the way to synagogue tonight. I've been working on this speech for all week, and I went to print it, and when I did, the computer decided to edit for me. And it was like terrible. So that's my little story about this evening. But anyway, it was many, many years ago when Rabbi Zedek first came to our synagogue. And when he first came, his first high holiday service, he asked a few congregants if they would share what it meant for them to be Jewish. And he approached me, and I was one of the first lucky ones to be called upon to do this. And I prepared this, and this is sort of the basis of that. And then I did all these edits that just kind of went out the window. So I'll do my best to make it with the edits. When I think about what it means to be Jewish, I have to begin by telling you about myself and the circumstances around my life. I was raised in a traditional, conservative Jewish home. I grew up in Dalton, Illinois. Anybody know where Dalton is? Good. A south suburb here of Chicago. There were only about a half a dozen Jewish families in our town, including mine, so we attended services at a synagogue in nearby Hammond, Indiana. Yeah, right? Yeah. My mom kept a strictly kosher house, and even though it took quite a bit of schlepping, we spent every major Jewish holiday and once a month at Shabbat with my bubby and papa in West Rogers Park, as you know, a neighborhood right here in Chicago that once had a very large Jewish population. Like all good Jewish boys, I went to Hebrew school twice a week, Sunday school every week, and as a teen, I was quite involved with BBYO. Of course, I also attended junior congregation services almost every Saturday morning, which we called it Junior Congo Bongo. Being Jewish has always been important and special to me. I must also tell you, if you don't know, I was born with a severe limb disability. I am missing bones in both legs. Today I am 5'8" because I wear artificial limbs, prosthesis. Now, when I was born, the obstetrician told my parents that I should be institutionalized. This doctor made this assessment based on one thing and only one thing, my body. Never taking into account my spirit, my soul, what is in each of us that makes us who we are, that gives us our personalities. Thank goodness my parents got the opinion of another doctor. His opinion was a little more favorable, and he told my parents that I would find my own way if they just raised me no differently than they had my older able-bodied sister. So thank goodness my parents opted to bring me home, and 8 days later, I had a bris, and raised me like any other Jewish son, or as my father sometimes called me, Zuni. They tried to treat me no differently than Rena, my older able-bodied sister. Around the age of 5 or 6, I realized a few things about myself. This might sound kind of weird coming from a 5 or 6-year-old, but I think I had a spiritual awakening. I knew I was different in a physical way. In fact, people often stared, pointed, or laughed at me, but I felt that I had been put in this body for a reason, that God had put me in this body for a reason, and that I had started Sunday school and I was becoming more aware of my Judaism. As mentioned, I grew up in Dalton, where there weren't a lot of Jewish families, and when I would go to school, my classmates, when we would talk about religion, they would say, "You're a Jew?" Yeah, that is what I dealt with. Despite this reaction, I was always proud to be Jewish. In fact, I even started to feel that I was chosen, right? Aren't the Jewish people the chosen people? So I felt that I was chosen to be Jewish, chosen to be put into my body. As people have always struggled, and that is Jewish people, have always struggled to maintain our Jewish identity and heritage. As you know, throughout history, we have been persecuted just for being Jewish. Even today, we often need bravery and fortitude to maintain our Jewish identity, as anti-Semitism is currently on the rise. It is not easy, But again, no one ever said it would be. And anything that's worth having isn't easy. In fact, I still believe that God has put me here for a reason. In fact, I believe God has put all of us here for a purpose. I cannot tell you what this is for you. This is what you need to figure out on your own journey. I can tell you this, though. If you follow your heart, success will chase you no matter how you define success. In other words, pursue your dreams with passion and believe in yourself, and this will lead you to success. I have had wonderful parents who guided me to be a responsible adult and independent, even after they moved to Florida when I was just 18. Unfortunately, they are no longer with us, but they live in my heart, and I still hear their words even today. How come you don't call anymore? When are you going to come down to Florida? But no, those are not the words I am talking about. The words I mean, my parents often said to me, you could achieve anything if you put your mind to it, and attitude is everything. And you could achieve anything if you have a good attitude. They didn't just talk the talk, but they walked the walk too. They supported me in all my athletic endeavors, and I encourage you to be that source of support for a loved one. It changes lives. So why am I in this body that is so different from everyone else? And why am I Jewish? In spite of, or perhaps because of, my disability, I decided to become an athlete. I loved proving people wrong. I learned to ride a bike at a very young age, swim at the age of 3. I bowled, I played Little League baseball. In high school and college, I was a competitive gymnast, and in 1996 played on the USA sit volleyball team at the Atlanta Paralympics, a memory that I will never forget. I currently enjoy scuba diving and downhill mono skiing when I have the opportunity. 30 years ago, I started coaching gymnastics in the inner city to youths. I soon realized that my own intense drive to persevere made a strong impression on my young athletes. I realized that I have the unique ability to motivate others. I believe that I was put in this body to help others. Other people believe, to inspire, to motivate, to make people think, if he can do it, so can I, whatever it is. One of the things I like most about Judaism is no matter how much you think you know about our religion, you are never finished learning. Being a student of Torah, we know that one of the most intriguing things about Torah is there are so many ways that it can be interpreted. We are constantly learning, changing, evolving, trying to analyze and understand. I feel that I am a teacher. I am here to help others accept, embrace their own differences, and to help all achieve their own dreams. Of course, I am a student. I am constantly learning and trying to overcome my own shortcomings. I have learned a lot from my own family, being a husband to my wife, Julia, and a father to my 2 daughters, Marissa and Paley. Today, we live in Edgewater, literally about 10 minutes away, and literally about 10 minutes away from where Bubby and Papa used to live. We are now reformed. I couldn't torture my kids to being conservative and go to junior Congo Bongo for 3 hours. Emanuel congregation here, I was so fortunate. I was fortunate to get to know Rabbi Shalman, a truly wise and blessed and wonderful man. Our girls both attended Hebrew school here and were bat mitzvahed here. They both went to Asrui, and they call Asrui, and that's a legacy of Rabbi Shalman, they both called Asrui the greatest place on earth. They were both active in Nifty, and okay, that's got to go out because that was old. Being Jewish is second nature to me. It is just who I am. I am proud of my family and our strong sense of Jewish identity. I believe that it is one of our obligations we have as Jews to preserve in the face of adversity and to pass on our heritage to the next generations. Lador Vador. Shabbat Shalom.
An inspiration for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dolly.
As I said before, no matter what shape our body takes, how differently abled, whatever challenge may be ours, and make no mistake, we all have challenges. This poem by Rabbi Karen Kadar is, I think, the idea. Make of me a vessel. I call upon the deep, the dark, the hovering spirit, the God of creation, the muse of the creative impulse. Make of me a vessel, ready to receive the loving stream from a transcendent God, that it may course its way through my discerning mind and complicated heart and the purity of my soul. O aspirational soul, so that I may be a force for good. For in the beginning, it was very good. And this is our human destiny, to be created in the image of those early moments of divinity when the darkness danced in flowing circles of light and beauty cast a hue upon all things, simple and complex, known and unknown, returning, always turning toward the deep, dark, hovering spirit of the God of creation. I call upon you, creator of the universe, make of me a vessel, a mere image of paradoxical beauty, of mystery, of oneness, and love, and love. The Aleinu is on page 586. We invite you to rise physically or spiritually. Page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those whom we've loved, lost, the season and years past. Gisela Amster, Emil Arndt, Victor Brodsky, Sol Buxbaum, Eugene A. Cantor, Myrtle Davis, Isidore Dorff, Sonia Duke, Saul Dworkin, Philip Allen Glazer, Nora Goldsmith, Paul Haberkamp, Bernard D. Hirsch, Doretta Hoffman, Ella S. Hyman, Simon Lax, Isidore Lerner, Helen Meltzer, Sidney Mogul, Edward Morris, William Phillips, Molly Pollins, Edith Reinhardt, Ruth L. Riff, Arthur Sagi, Maria A. Salas, Rabbi Herman Schallman, Kate H. Schneider, Milford H. Schulhoff, Anna Sells, Paul L. Solomon, Francis J. Solon, Betty Weissman, Pearl Versch, Ruth Usen, Nette Zager, Esther Zedek, Lillian Zivin, and in recent days, Alan Richard Bush, Alicia Velasquez, and Lois Pavilon. Jack, are there any other names? Thank you. I'd like to invite those who are in mourning or are commemorating a yahrzeit to please rise first. And those of you whose custom it is to please join them. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yiromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha brihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imeru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all of you bereaved among us, as we all say, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you so much to Lloyd Bacharach, to Ruth Seidner, to all of you who helped make Shabbat sing tonight. We're so very grateful you're here and online too. Our closing song, Rue?
Well, we're going to sing Yesh Kochavim, and it's a song that the choir and I did quite often here, but I think it's very fitting to do it right after the Kaddish, and you'll find it on page 595. 595. I'll give you a minute to find it. And you'll see it kind of at the bottom of the page. We're going to do it in Hebrew and English. This is a Jeff Klepper tune, but it's the poem is by Hannah Senesh, who was a fierce fighter, an Israeli who lived in Poland for most of her life and then moved to Israel, and she fought she was a paratrooper, right. And she was captured, her plane went down, but she even kept writing poetry in her cell in jail. And she's quite somebody to acknowledge. And so everybody's found it by now on page 595 toward the bottom of the page. Let's do it Hebrew first, and then we'll do English. Yesh kochavim she'aran amigamala rak asher be'azman יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם הזמן אינם עוד לצורכנו.
Thank you, Ruthie, for keeping me honest. That was supposed to go before Kaddish Tom. And so, as I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, Ruthie, if you would, can we sing something really joyous because it's Shabbat? So we'll close with something really, really joyous, and I'll say to you, Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, great. That sounds wonderful to me. We did that one already, Dolly girl. Oh, do I want them back? Yeah, that would be
Let
great.
us finish services, and then we'll worry about it, okay? All right.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Again, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. That's okay. I knew I was doing it.
You know what I knew? I was like, I knew I wasn't doing poem,
But you couldn't figure out.
Couldn't